An 84-year-old woman, the mother of one of America's most beloved TV anchors, vanished in the middle of the night. No screams, no witnesses, no trace. But someone was there, a masked and armed figure, caught on camera, deliberately covering a doorbell lens with a potted plant, thinking the footage was gone forever. He was wrong. The FBI dug into deleted data and pulled back something nobody expected. And what they found changed everything. This is the full story of the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. Every detail, every shocking twist, and the extraordinary technology authorities are now using to find her. Stay with me, because this case gets stranger by the minute. Now, before we get into the investigation, you need to understand who Nancy Guthrie is. Because this is not just a missing persons case. This is personal for millions of Americans. Nancy Guthrie was born on January 27, 1942. She is the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie, co-anchor of NBC's Today Show, and one of the most recognized faces on American morning television. Nancy had lived in the Tucson, Arizona area for more than 50 years. Authorities described her as a vulnerable adult due to her age, limited mobility, and reliance on daily medication, including a pacemaker to keep her heart beating. She was a church-going woman who watched virtual services with friends every Sunday. She had dinner with her family the very night she disappeared. And then, in the dead of night, she was gone. Here is the minute-by-minute timeline of what happened. And every single detail matters. At 5:32 in the evening on January 31st, Nancy took an Uber to her daughter Annie's home for dinner and a family game night. The Uber driver was later interviewed by the FBI. He was not a suspect. He even shared video of Nancy from inside his car. At 9:48 in the evening, Nancy was dropped off at her home by her son-in-law Tommaso. Her garage door opened. 2 minutes later it closed. The sheriff said, "It is at that time we assume that Nancy is home and probably going to bed." Then the house went dark. At 1:47 in the morning on February 1st, the doorbell camera disconnected. At 2:12 in the morning, the camera briefly detected movement. And then at 2:28 in the morning, Nancy's pacemaker app, the one that constantly syncs to her phone, disconnected. That is the moment investigators believe she was physically moved far enough from her phone that the Bluetooth connection cut off. That is the moment authorities believe Nancy Guthrie was taken. At 11:56 the following morning, her family realized something was wrong. She had not shown up to watch virtual church with her friends. Completely out of character. They called 911 at 12:03. Deputies arrived at 12:15. And what they found on that front porch stopped them cold. Her phone was left behind. Her watch was left behind. Her purse was left behind. Her car was still in the garage. And her critical daily medication was untouched. Nobody leaves like that voluntarily. But it gets worse. On the front porch, investigators found blood. The sheriff rushed the DNA testing. The results confirmed the blood belonged to Nancy. The camera that should have captured everything had been disabled. And then came the detail that set off alarm bells across the entire country. A masked and armed figure was seen at Nancy's front door in the early hours of the morning. He knew exactly what he was doing. He tried to knock the doorbell camera off the wall. When that did not work, he pulled leaves from a potted plant and covered the camera lens. He thought he had erased himself. He was wrong. Here is where this story takes a turn that sounds like something out of a spy movie. Nancy Guthrie did not have an active subscription for video cloud storage on her Google Nest doorbell. That means in theory no footage should have been saved. But FBI Director Kash Patel announced that the agency was able to recover images from residual data in back-end systems. Data that the kidnapper assumed was deleted. Data that was not. On February 10th, the FBI released those images to the public. A masked man, gloves on, armed with what appeared to be a gun in a holster, carrying a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack, the kind sold at Walmart. The FBI described the suspect as a male approximately 5 feet 9 to 5 feet 10 inches tall, with an average build and a black mustache. Authorities believe his clothing, the mask, the jacket, the entire outfit, were likely purchased at Walmart. They contacted gun store owners across Tucson. They tracked down people who bought that specific type of holster. They received 18,000 tips through the sheriff's tip line. And the FBI has reviewed up to 10,000 hours of surveillance video from the surrounding neighborhood. That is part one. In part two, we reveal the DNA evidence, the pacemaker helicopter, the ransom demand, and where this investigation stands today. Make sure you watch it. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, make sure you watch part one first, because what we are about to reveal builds on everything that came before. 2 miles from Nancy's home, investigators found a black glove. It appeared to match the exact gloves worn by the suspect seen in the doorbell footage. DNA was recovered from that glove. The profile of an unknown male. They ran it through CODIS, the FBI's national DNA database of over 19 million profiles. No match. But the FBI is not done. They are now using a technology called investigative genetic genealogy. This is the same cutting-edge science that caught the Golden State Killer. It traces DNA through commercial ancestry databases to build a family tree and zero in on a suspect. DNA expert Cece Moore, who helped crack that infamous cold case, publicly stated that if she were the kidnapper right now, she would be extremely concerned. They also found separate DNA inside Nancy's home. DNA that belongs to neither Nancy nor anyone in close contact with her. Now here is the detail that made headlines around the world and even drew criticism from President Trump himself. Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker, and pacemakers emit a Bluetooth signal every 2 to 3 minutes. The FBI mounted a special device called a signal sniffer onto a helicopter. Flying slowly at low altitude over the Tucson area, this device continuously scans and locks onto Nancy's pacemaker's unique signal. Think of it like flying around with Nancy's phone, waiting for her pacemaker to call home. President Trump was critical of this information being made public. He told reporters on Air Force One that revealing this technology gave the kidnapper the chance to disable the pacemaker before it could be located. Experts have since developed a modified drone-based version of the same technology with an even wider detection range. That search is ongoing. Within 48 hours of Nancy's disappearance, ransom notes began arriving at media outlets across Tucson. A local CBS affiliate received the first one. TMZ received multiple messages, including one demanding approximately $6 million in cryptocurrency, with graphically described consequences if the deadline was not met. 2 deadlines came and went, February 5th and February 9th, with no confirmed contact between the family and whoever is holding Nancy. Savannah Guthrie posted video after video to Instagram, directly addressing whoever has her mother. In one of the most heartbreaking moments of this entire case, she looked into the camera and said to the kidnapper, "It is never too late to do the right thing." In another video, she said simply, "We will pay." On February 24th, Savannah and her siblings announced a $1 million reward for information leading to their mother's safe return. Combined with the FBI reward and a local Arizona fund, the total reward now stands at over $1.2 million. A retired FBI agent said it best. $1 million is going to change someone's world. As of today, it has been 33 days since Nancy Guthrie was taken. The investigation is not cold. Sheriff Chris Nanos said this week, "I think the investigators are definitely closer. We got a lot of intel, a lot of leads, but now it is time to just go to work." He confirmed the homicide unit is working alongside the FBI and authorities still believe Nancy is alive. Savannah, her sister Annie, and brother-in-law Tommaso visited a tribute outside the home. A handwritten note on their card read, "Though we are surrounded by so much darkness and uncertainty, our love burns bright. We love you, Mommy. We miss you so much." Somewhere out there, Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker is still sending a signal, every 2 to 3 minutes, waiting to be found. If you are in the Tucson area and have dashcam or security footage from the night of January 31st into February 1st, the FBI is asking you to come forward. Tips can be submitted at 1-800-CALL-FBI. If this video gave you the full picture of this case, please share it. The more people who know about Nancy Guthrie, the better her chances of coming home. Subscribe if you are new, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bring Nancy home.